Okay then, let's see, where do I begin? The throttle and the passing gear mechanism has all been straightened out and put together the way it should be here. This is a vacuum line that goes to the windshield wiper, and I will cut it later, but right now I've just left it long just because I don't want to cut anything until I'm got everything kind of like I want it to be. The coil is in and hooked up to the switch. The distributor is in. I've got to put on the distributor cap, put the plugs in it, run the plug wires, pour a little gas in the carburetor, and then I can crank it up. Now I'm going to be cranking it without the water pump or without the radiator or any of that. And I'm just debating on, I actually did hook the fuel line up. And I was thinking, well, if I'd left it unhooked, I could have just poured some gas in it and cranked it on the gas in the carburetor and then hooked it up. Because, I don't know, I'm thinking fire, less chance of fire if you do something like that, but I don't think I'll mess with it. Now that I've hooked it up, I think I'll just leave it. I'll just crank it. So, okay, that'll be in a few minutes, and you can see it. By the way, just an interesting thing, the dipstick broke. The stick itself, and this is the dipstick. I believe this was originally an original 57 Chevrolet dipstick because of the way, see how the letters are embossed on that? Add, full, not overfill. It's a really heavy metal stick. It's actually riveted together up on this end. Got a little tiny couple of pieces of metal that go down in there, and there's a little rivet in that. It broke right here, but I'm thinking I could fix that. Just kind of cool idea that you could have the original dipstick in a 57 Chevy engine. And what I put in here is this one, which is an aftermarket dipstick that works just fine. It actually works a little better because it's bent, and that straight one would come right out and run right into that bundle of wires and stuff there. So that's just an interesting thing to show you. All right, enough of that. Maybe you'll hear it running in a minute. All right, I've got a little splash of gas in my mustard can. Let's see if there's enough in there to wake it up. Did I get gas all over it? I thought I poured it all down the carburetor. Did I spill a little, or did the carburetor leak? I think what I'm going to do is not crank it yet. Pull the carburetor off and address what's causing it to leak, because I don't want to set the thing on fire. That would mess up the whole day's work if I did that. So I'll come back to this in the morning. Man, that is an old carburetor. Look up there, it says GM 2-jet Rochester. I don't know if the glare is keeping you from being able to read that or not. Made in the USA. I believe rather than replace it, I'd love to run that carburetor. I might have to get a carburetor kit for it though. Or I might be able to, it's leaking. It seems to be leaking. See that crack in the carburetor? Actually, the glow of my light kind of probably makes you blind, but if you look just above where the light is, you see where the carburetor joins there. The base bolts down, the carburetor joins there. But it's leaking right out of that. And it's leaking all the way around. Now, I may have damaged the carburetor putting it in there. With it on the motor. I thought about that. I didn't know if it was leaking when I bought it, but I didn't see it leaking. But anyway, the way this is made, you just about have to take the top off to get to those bolts. See those bolts over underneath the top of that cover? So yeah, might want to yeah, I'm gonna have to take off all these little fittings and things here. I'll go look online. I'm willing to bet it's that seal, and I could probably fix it with some Insta-gasket. But I'm not going to start that today. It's been a long day. I was kind of thinking I'd quit about an hour and a half ago. I thought, well, it'd be kind of fun to hear it run, so I kept going. But now I'm really ready to quit, so that's what I'll do. And then we'll come back to that tomorrow. I believe we can get her running tomorrow. Oh, the joy. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Oh, the joy. Tell you what, I had one heck of a time getting spark plugs in the back of that engine. Man. So what I did there was I opened the carburetor jets up, the butterfly on top, which is a choke, and the one on the bottom, and I squirted the gas all the way through. I was thinking about this carburetor and why it leaked like that when it didn't before, and I thought, well, maybe if you don't open that butterfly on the bottom, the gas will sit in there and just seep out through the side. So I poured some straight down through, and it went straight down through without a problem. Now you notice when it cranked, it kind of started and then quit, but you also notice when I hit the starter, it was like hesitating. Well, that's usually a sign that the timing's a little too fast. So what I'm gonna do is retard the timing slightly. I'm gonna do that again. And by the way, I've disconnected the fuel pump, so it's not gonna be pumping any fuel. I'm gonna go, I can't remember if clockwise or counterclockwise. I think it turns counterclockwise, so I think I would have retarded it because I turned it a little bit counterclockwise. So we'll try that. If that don't work, we'll push it the other way a little bit and try that. I still don't have any moisture around the base of the carb, so I think that's probably is what happened. So I'm holding the butterfly top and bottom, and then we'll try that. No gas on the manifold this time. So that sounded like it was worse, so I'm going to go the other direction with the timing. I'm going to go clockwise about as much as I did, and a little hair more. She runs. So, I think what I'm going to do tomorrow is come out here and observe the carburetor, look at it a little bit more, talk about the fuel flow. What do I do with my flashlight? I'd like to have a look at what I'm looking at with it. But there's no wetness here. So I'm gonna just walk away from that for the moment, just because I feel pretty good about where it's at right now. Tomorrow I'll come back and we'll look at it some more. Oh, the joy.